Hey guys! Okay, let's get real. Do you sometimes feel like life's just a never ending loop of wake up, drink coffee, go to work, waste countless hours scrolling online, eat, watch TV, maybe read a book, sleep, and then repeat? Have you ever really thought, is this really it? Guess what? You're not the only one. I help people just like you, well, and me, to get unstuck. I'm bringing on amazing guests who will inspire you, challenge you, and maybe even blow your mind. Let's face it, if you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to keep getting what you got. But lucky for you, I know exactly how to help. With a little bit of woo and a whole lot of you, it's time to unstick your stuck and shake that thing up. Let's do this on Beverly Explains It All. Hey guys, welcome to Beverly Explains It All. I have the beautiful Dr. Tamar Lawful here with us today. She is a doctor of pharmacy and advanced practice pharmacist. She's recognized among the top 50 most influential pharmacy leaders. And she is the founder and CEO of LYFE Balance. Hi, Dr. Tamar.
Hey, Beverly. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming. So on my show, I love to start off with like a couple of, icebreaker games, just like 3 questions that are just yes or no. Do you mind playing with me?
Let's do it.
Yay! Okay. I have to know, do you start your day with coffee?
Do I? Sometimes I do. Sometimes I don't. I'll say about 3 days a week. I start it with coffee.
I've kind of cut back to that. I'm like literally having a cup now, which is kind of shameful because it's like 1:30. But I'm like, oh, I haven't had enough caffeine today.
I'm tempted to because it's one of those days. But I try not to do it, and especially midday. I want to go to water. So sometimes it's just a dehydration thing. That's why we feel so, beat down. So I go to water. Yeah.
See, people are going to want to know, they're going to get why we're talking about this when we actually get into our conversation. But I was curious about that myself. My second question is, do you believe that burnout is a choice?
It is a choice. It is a choice, indeed, because we're making the decision to do the things that are burning us out. And we can just as easily make the same decision to do the complete opposite.
I need to hear this today so badly because I've been promising myself like I'm not going to get burned out. But it's funny because, the show is about becoming unstuck. Mm-hmm. And I've been like throwing myself into work. But then I got a part-time job that it's in entertainment. So my part-time job really is like a full-time job because I have 2 12-hour days in a row. And, my podcasting and all of my other little activities that I was doing before I got the job have not stopped. So I'm slowly feeling that burnout. Like I'm just so tired. I'm run down, and I'm like, okay, I need to listen to Dr. Tamar because if this is a choice, I am literally scaling back and I'm like, you can't do it all because I am feeling it. So I think some people need to hear this today.
Yes.
Okay, my third question is, do you think everything happens for a reason?
That is something I found myself saying many times to just explain certain things away, especially when you have that moment in your life, like something happens and it's like, oh, I think that happened for a reason because X, Y, and Z. So I think it's possible that things happen for a reason. And if you don't believe that, then you can at least say things happen for me to learn something from it. Because we can learn something from anything that happens in our lives.
That is so true. And what I think too, in addition to that, is you have to kind of listen to the lesson even when you don't really want to hear it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I'm like, man, wow. Like I used to be like, okay, well, everything happens for a reason. But then I'd be mad because I'm like, well, what the heck kind of reason was this? And I'm like, oh, no, that's just because you don't want to learn.
Right. And sometimes it might involve us taking accountability, again, going back to actions, right? Yeah. For the things that we've done, decisions we've made, and really do some introspective self-evaluation to see what we can change in our lives.
I love it. 100%. Well, I know a little bit about you, but will you please tell our listeners what you're all about?
Of course. I am a pharmacist by profession for 21 years, this year, 21 years. And quite a few years ago, I decided to pivot a little bit outside of the pharmacy realm In pharmacy, we are giving people medications to help them through whatever conditions they're going through. But I realized that this was a Band-Aid. I wanted to help people actually get better and not have to rely on medications. So I decided to build my company, LYFE Balance, to really cater to busy professional women who are putting themselves on a back burner, and they're finding themselves, oh man, I have prediabetes, I have high blood pressure, I'm having migraines, I'm having trouble sleeping, whatever it is, to really help them prioritize themselves so that they can get on the track to health. And I do that in a unique way. I look at your genetics. So let your genes guide you, because your body has the answers. And with the genetics, I can find what some underlying issues may be as to why you may be at a standstill when it comes to your health, why you might be at a plateau, for example, weight loss. And then we can get very specific on nutrition, lifestyle, even types of exercises to do, and supplements that you may need. And I work with my clients for 90 days to implement those recommendations in their genetic test so that they can really make these changes a lifestyle versus just something they're doing for now. So ultimately, just helping women prioritize themselves so they can prioritize their health and thrive in life.
Yeah, and live their best life.
Of course.
Your method just, I don't know, it makes me so excited because I feel like it just really pinpoints exactly what you need to do because it's based on your own body, right?
It is. It is. It's no more guessing. I have to say, why guess when you can test?
Okay.
We don't need to play the guessing games when it comes to your health. No more guessing needed.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. You're just speaking my language. You've had such an incredible journey, from immigrating at age 4 and becoming one of the top 50 most influential pharmacists. I mean, what a title. What inspired your passion for health and healing, and how's that evolved over time?
Oh, thank you, Beverly. Thanks for acknowledging that. Yes, I came
Oh,
from Jamaica at 4 years old, raised in a family where everything was from the ground, right? I think on Fridays, we were allowed to have pizza. And we didn't really like it at first. Coming from Jamaica, we're like, what is this? It took some growing on us to do is actually start liking pizza. But Fridays were like our fast food days. But every day, mom was cooking fresh foods. If I didn't get sick as a child, I only remember getting sick when I was in 4th grade. And I had the stomach flu or something. And I was like, what is going on? I'm dying. So never.
Stomach flu's bad too. So I know that knocked you out.
Yes. So other than chicken pox, when I was 5 or 6, 1st grade, I had chicken pox. And then 4th grade, I had a stomach flu. And
That's
then
it.
And then as an adult, I started getting sick because I'm like, I'm not taking those vitamins anymore. I'm not taking all those remedies that my mom would give me. I'm not
liver oil.
Yes. So it started with my upbringing, really focusing on what we're eating and natural remedies and just being healthy, right? But then when I went to pharmacy school, I chose pharmacy school because I wanted to help people get better. I wanted to. It goes back to my grandmother where she was dying of lung cancer, and I saw her on her deathbed, and there was nothing I could do. She was dying. I felt helpless. She was helpless. And in that moment, I decided to do something to help other people, prevent them to end up like her, so frail and so sick. So when it came time to really figure out what I wanted to do, my mom helped me, and we landed on pharmacy because medications can help people get better, right? And as I mentioned before, in my career as a pharmacist, I realized I wasn't helping them get better. I'm just maintaining their condition. And it's going to get worse because we're not really attacking the core reason as to why they're having these issues in the first place, whether it be lifestyle, whether it be something is going on genetically. We're not getting to the core of it. We're not getting to the root cause. So we're just putting Band-Aids on these problems. So I really started researching myself, what can we do? What can we focus on? Then I remembered, well, wait a minute, in a pharmacy school, before they taught us about the medications to treat this condition, they told us we need to teach our patients to focus on nutrition and exercise. Don't smoke. So how about we start there?
Right. Right.
Start there. So that's what my life balance really focuses on. We focus on the nutrition and the lifestyle changes, applying those in our life. So that's where my passion for this came from. Really wanting to help people have a solution versus a band-aid.
Man, and that must be tricky because as a pharmacist, I mean, I believe, part of your brain is probably like, okay, well, I need to prescribe medication, but it sounds like at the core of your heart, you're really trying to not put people on medication if they don't need to be.
That's exactly right. If they don't need to be, we don't want them on medications. If they're already on it, we can help them make these changes so that they can slowly come off of the medications. In pharmacy or healthcare world, particularly pharmacy, we have a terminology called deprescribing. So we're looking at taking people off medications, but from a pharmacist standpoint, we're looking at, does drug A interact with drug B to cause a side effect? Or is drug A duplication, just in another form of drug B? So you have two medications doing the same thing, so one's not needed, so remove it.
Wow.
But in my sense, I'm deprescribing in the sense that not focused on medication, but you're on this medication for high blood pressure. How's your nutrition? How's your salt intake? Are you exercising? Let's implement those changes, and then your dose of medications are going to be reduced. So hopefully the point you get off of it.
That's really exciting to me because I know I shared with you that I'm on high blood pressure medicine, but before I was prescribed it by my doctor, he was like, well, you're kind of like borderline. It's not high right now, but, let's put you on some medication just to have it be like a little preventative. And I was like, oh, okay, whatever. I'm going to listen to my doctor. So I went on this medication about a year ago, and my blood pressure went down significantly. It's great now. And I was like, oh, well, I'm good. I'm great. I want to be off the medication now. And he was like, oh, no. Well, now that you started it, you can't get off or else your blood pressure will be raised. And that kind of made me feel like, wait, did I just fall for the okie doke? Because I don't want to take pills for the rest of my life. So, I mean, what do you think about that, one? And two, it's like, I'm excited through your program to learn there are ways to actually be able to get off this medication.
Yeah, I think many people don't start taking medications feeling that they're going to be on it for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
They're like, this medication is going to help me get better. Right. And that is not the case. These medications are not designed to help you cure your condition. So yes, you would have to stay on it if you want to continue getting those results, unless you implement the lifestyle changes and nutrition changes. Now, some people may have conditions that no matter what, it's going to be difficult to like lower their blood pressure or lower their cholesterol. So in that case, I believe that medication would be absolutely necessary. Still at the same time, doing their best to watch what they're eating and improve their lifestyle, of course. But yeah, many people go in either they take the medications thinking, oh, I'm going to get better. Or they take it thinking, I'm still going to continue how I'm eating, my unhealthy lifestyle. The doctor increased my dose, and I am fine with that.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard because like my doctor in particular, like, of course he was like, diet, exercise, lose some weight. But I'm like, okay, well, I lost 10 pounds. I'm ready to get off. But he was like, no, it's not, you can't. But it's not like we sat down and discussed like a true plan. This is how you can get off this medication. So I love that your program is actually allowing people to sit here and know actionable steps they can take towards getting off something they don't want to be on.
Yeah, this reminds me of a conversation I had with someone else the other day. People have to remember that you're the boss of your health. Okay? You are hiring your doctors. Yeah. Whoever's taking care of you, those providers, you are their boss. So you need to be empowered to let them know what you want to do. If you want to focus on nutrition, they should write a prescription for you to see a nutritionist or dietitian over a medication. Yeah. Or in conjunction with, at least do both at the minimum, right? So if you have a provider that is like, oh, it's the medications and that's all we can do, that to me, that's a red flag. That's a red flag.
Yeah, and I don't want to talk poorly about my physician because I love him. Shout out to Dr. Opene because he's gonna be like, sir, ma'am, excuse me. No, like he is fantastic, but I mean, it's just that you kind of do forget you are in charge of your health when it comes to a doctor. Like, I know I do, because I'm going to do what the doctor tells me. Because if I don't, I'm scared of actions. Like, I don't want to die. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm like, okay, if this man tells me this, then that must be right. However, it's like you said, just doing something simple as being like, well, I would like to do this in addition to a nutritionalist. Like, I understand I have to work on my nutrition. If I haven't been doing it and I'm not doing what you said to get off this weight loss medicine, then let's do that together.
Yeah.
Because I've never really sat down with him and been like, let's make a plan to get off this medication. It's kind of just like, oh, well, you need a diet and exercise. And I'm like, well, duh, that's like story of my life.
But never details how what do I eat,
Right.
So what do you do? You go, they might give you a pamphlet, or you might go to Google and say, how do I X, Y, and Z, and you're going to get a whole bunch of different answers, and none of them really specific to you. And
Exactly.
that's where the type of testing that I do comes into play. It's going to be specific to you.
I love that. One of the things I wanted to talk to you about was, I know that you specialize in, I want to say it correctly, Nutritional Genomics and pharmacogenomics, which sounds very sciencey. And I was wondering if you could kind of break it down for us. And what do our genes really tell us about how to live our healthiest lives?
Oh, love it. Great question. So nutrigenomics and pharmacogenomics. Nutrigenomics, the science of food, nutrition, how it impacts our genes. Pharmacogenomics, the science of pharma, so pharmaceuticals, medications, and how they affect our genes. So the foods that we put into our body, what we expose ourselves in our environment, they have the ability really to turn our genetics on and off, because we know our DNA codes for something, right? Maybe codes for how we're going to manage stress. So certain foods that we eat might turn the gene on that's going to make us more prone to stress. Or if we eat certain foods, it can turn it off so that we are handling stress better, pretty much. It's to hope I didn't oversimplify it, but that's the concept of it when it comes to nutrigenomics. Now with pharmacogenomics, what those tests, I think going forward, nobody should be prescribed a medication until they do a pharmacogenomic test. It's limited right now as to the type of medications that are actually tested and linked to our genetics. But primarily, I use it with a psychiatric, or I've seen it with the psychiatric type illnesses like depression. A lot of cancer medications now are being made to be linked to genetics. So they have to do a genetic test first to determine which medication would be best for them when it comes to treating certain types of cancer. So even pain management is where I first saw the use of pharmacogenomics. So what it will tell you is how effective a medication will be for one, and the likelihood of having side effects with the medication. So I had a client who took the pharmacogenomic test. She had a history of depression, and she had been on several medications. And if you've ever known anyone that's dealing with mental health and they're being prescribed medications, they can be on so many different medications over time because it's not working. So they switch to something else. That's not working. They switch to something else. So that's what happened to her. So when she got her pharmacogenomic test results, I'm going over it with her, and we went to the section that talked about the antidepressants, and she had reds, meaning completely avoid, turn around.
Oh man.
Turn the other way, do not take these medications. And 3 of those medications in the red she had been given at some point in time, and each time she received those medications, she was in the hospital.
How do people not know this? Like, that's not good.
Yeah.
That's how people die.
Yeah. So it's not many doctors are still familiar with it. Insurance, it's getting out there, especially with pharmacogenomics. And some insurance companies are paying for it, covering it. Yeah, so she was upset. She felt like a hospital experience, a hospital admission due to an adverse effect, a serious one, is traumatizing.
Yes.
And on the phone call with her, she's crying. And if I had known this, why don't my doctors know that this existed? I could have avoided even the cost of hospitalization.
Yeah.
So I think it's very important that this type of testing is done when it comes to medications, for sure, because we can definitely avoid those side effects and even see if that medication is going to be effective for that person, save time, save money, limit trauma to the patient.
Yeah, that's so wild. It's like people don't know about this, you know?
Mhm.
So I'd love to hear more about your signature program, In Her Glow. How does it help women reclaim their health and energy through personalized genetic-based care?
Inner Glow is my baby, Beverly. That is my baby. So it's
That's
like,
your jam.
you have a business like, oh, I want to help people get better. I want to help women prioritize their health. But then it's like, how do I do it? I just don't want to, it's not going to be a free for all. So
Right.
I developed a very structured protocol that I put my clients through. I have a 12-week program, and every 2 weeks we move on to the next part of that protocol. And so I work with them to implement and make it part of their life. And on top of that is the nutrigenomic testing, where we're identifying underlying issues that genetically they may not be handling well. So if they start working on it, it's going to be a cascade effect in improving their health. For example, we might find out that inflammation is an issue with them. Inflammation, for whatever reason, genetically, they don't really handle inflammation well. So what are we going to do? We're going to do what that test tells us to do. So first it starts with nutrition and says, you need to avoid foods that are going to cause inflammation. So it's going to list the type of foods that's recommended to eat. Part of inflammation can be affected by stress. So we want to do activities that are going to reduce your stress. These are activities that you can do. Exercise is important, but not every exercise is effective for the same for everybody. So it's going to give them very specific types of exercises that they should implement based on their genetics. And then supplements that would be beneficial to help with inflammation as well. Then I'm working with them for 12 weeks, at this point, probably 8 weeks, because the test takes about 4 weeks to come back, to really work on the nutrition. They have a meal planner that links to their DNA profile. So those foods that were listed, there's meal plans that incorporate all those foods. Because I don't know about you, but if I get a list saying you can eat apples, onions, and chocolate, I'm going to be like, what's for dinner? Like,
right. Yeah. How do I do this? What am I making?
Apple, onion, chocolate pie? Like, I don't know.
So and I'm a foodie, so I'm like, I don't know about this. Ain't gonna be sustainable.
Individually great, right? I don't know about onions, but individually great. This digital meal planner that links to their DNA test results will give them recipes that they can make, and that way they're incorporating every day on a daily basis these foods that are going to help with their inflammation. And inflammation has a huge part in a lot of things, but especially the ability to lose weight. And a lot of the women coming to me, they want to lose weight. And if we discover that inflammation is an issue, we need to really work with their genetic profile recommendations so that they can reduce that inflammation and start releasing those fat cells so they can lose weight. So it really pinpoints on some underlying causes of maybe why they're even having the health issues, and that's what I absolutely love about it. So they don't have to guess anymore. But my In Her Glow, I named it that. I gave it that name because the women I was working with, they literally had a glow, like this external glow.
I love that. I love
vibrancy after by the end of the program. And I always feel like it's that healthy, they're getting healthy inside, and it's that inside glow, that inner glow is just shining through to them. So that's why I trademarked the name In Her Glow for the coaching program, because that's what they're going to get. They're going to get this inner glow.
Yeah. I mean, when you're healthy and you feel good, you literally do glow. I mean, I know I do. I always feel like I have an extra pep in my step.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, speaking of glowing, like, do you work with pregnant women? Is it only women? Will you see men? Do you work with super obese people?
Yeah. I've only worked with women, but it's open to everybody, right? I haven't worked with pregnant women before. So it's just that they haven't come to me. I've worked with
Which you would.
I would, yeah. So this is something that can benefit everybody.
I love
everybody.
That. All cultures, all races.
Exactly. And as a health coach, when it comes to culture, of course, I take into account the the cultural foods that they eat. Like I'm Jamaican, right? But I cannot have rice and peas and plantains every single day.
Oh yeah, well, no, not every day. I was like, I
And
think you
jerk
said
chicken,
ever. I was like, oh God, yum.
right?
I'm like, I could probably eat that every day.
Right. So, tell me about it. So
You
that's where the
know?
coaching comes in, and where I'm helping my clients see that yes, you have to eat a new way, but it's okay if you want to have a little bit of this or that once in a while. But ultimately, we're trying to reach X goal.
Right.
So let's stay laser focused for now.
Yes.
And on top of that, and if you do have those rice and peas, don't feel bad about it. You'll
Okay.
be
Keep
it's
it moving. That was
okay.
your treat. You know,
Yes,
sometimes you have to just do it,
amazing.
but keep your eye on the prize, like you were saying. You talk about self-care as a form of self-love. How did
Mhm.
becoming a mother and juggling your own career shift your understanding of what self-care really means?
Beverly, let me tell you, I thought I knew what self care was. I was like, oh, I'm going to go to nail salon. I'm going to get a little break. Baby's at daycare.
Mm-hmm.
Self care. So, as a mother, married, working full time, I
Mm-hmm.
also was serving on the board of 3 nonprofits at
Woo-wee.
the same time. And I thought that going to the nail salon was my self care, or
Yeah.
getting a massage once a month was my self care.
Yeah.
So my perspective shift because I realized that wasn't enough. When we talk about
Okay.
burnout,
Yeah.
I was choosing to be burnt out and didn't
Yeah.
even know it.
Mm.
Self
Mm.
care is something that should be done every day. It's not
Mm.
that girls trip once a year. That's not self care. If you're not doing something for yourself every single day, you're not taking care of yourself. That's
Wow.
not self care. So that's where my perspective shifts. I realized I need to implement a routine, a daily routine of self care, not a once every 2 weeks or once every month or once every year. It has to be every single day because we have so much going on in our lives. We're still taking care of people, other
Yeah.
people, whether it's at work or at home.
Mm-hmm.
Why not take care of ourselves? We're taking care of them every day.
Right. Yeah.
Why not take care of ourselves every day? And for
I
each of
love
us, it's different. It's different.
Yeah, I love that you said that. I'd want to hear what you do for yourself, but like, how can we like take these actionable steps? Because every, I think, woman, probably men out there will just say, like, I don't have the time to do something for myself every day. Like, I feel like at times there's just like not enough hours in the day, but at the same time, I'm like, I just need a nap, and
Yeah.
maybe that is a form of self-care. I literally had a nap. I slept in a little bit later this morning, and I was like, this feels so good. I wanted to get my nails done. I'm like, I don't have time to get my nails done now, but that nap is what I needed. So I'm just
Yeah.
wondering, what are some actionable steps that we can do every day?
I think that you definitely have to set the time out. So if you have to put it in your schedule, in your calendar as a reminder to do it, you do it.
Mm,
I like starting in the beginning of the day because when that just sets the pace for your day
yeah.
to just take care of yourself, have
Mm-hmm.
that moment for yourself. So when I started my routine, I started waking up early because I my daughter was still fairly young at the time, and she had a nerve to wake up early every
How
morning.
dare? How dare she? What is she
And
thinking?
right, and on top of that, I realized if I wake up early, this child is like connected to me. She has another sixth sense or something. Within 15 minutes of me being up, she's up.
Crazy.
Right. But I
Wow.
realized
She
that if I got
knows.
up a little bit earlier, she's not going to be up past like until after a certain time.
You
So
upped
I
her.
would get up a little bit earlier in the day, and I would make my tea. I would
Mm,
sit down, read a book. I would listen to a meditation app. I use Calm because it's
yeah.
very difficult for me to meditate on my own. I need guided meditation even to
Yeah.
today. So I use the Calm app, and they have different topics, different categories. So whatever it is I feel like for that day, that's what I'm going to do.
I love it.
So for me, it's pretty much starting at the beginning of the day, and it's like setting your intention for the day, and that sets the pace and how things are going to go. So it puts me in the right mindset to take on whatever personality my daughter is going to have when she wakes up in the morning, And so for me, that's one thing that I found to do, just starting first thing. I want to give an example of a client I had because I want to go back to the fact that it is different for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
In my program, when we got to the self-care, stress management portion of things for those 2 weeks, I had to help her identify how she could implement self-care on a daily basis. Her husband had died recently, so she's now a single mother of 2.
Oh,
She was working
man.
from home. She would wake up, take the kids to school, come home, go to work at her computer. So she identified that what she needed for self-care was to take a shower at the beginning of the day. Something that we all do. The majority of us, at least, we wake up, take a shower. So she wasn't doing that. It was get up and go, 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 go. Right.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So once she started taking the showers in the morning before her day started, before she made breakfast for the kids, before she took them to school, she said she actually felt happier throughout the day.
Wow.
Throughout the day. Starting her day off with a shower did that for her. So that's something you can do every single day. And for her, that's something that was impactful and very much needed. So yeah, we just have to,
just something
I can
that
sit here and give you a list of things to do, but I would encourage you to really just take 15 minutes to yourself and really think about what you need and how you can do that. So if it's a nap, okay, I'm gonna take a midday nap every single day.
Right. You know, like you
Yeah.
said, you have to make that time. And that's the thing. It's like we forget we have to actually make time for ourselves. Like you said, we're always doing things for others. And we don't think of just even that shower. I'm sure she's not in there for like an hour. You know, she's just taking maybe even a 10-minute, 5-minute, 10-minute shower just for that own self-care time, that self-love. And recently, one of my friends has encouraged me to start listening to like motivational music when I shower in the morning, and maybe even like kind of like dance or whatever, and kind of get the mojo starting. So this week I'm gonna start that. I love that you mentioned the Calm app. I've used that before. I'm terrible, I think, personally at meditating. Even guided meditations, like my mind just goes. I'm like, why can't I stay? Like, I cannot stay on like focus. But, you know, I pray a lot. So I feel like that's also my sense of calm and, you know, my meditation, my form of meditation. But I always say I want to journal. However, I am such a like social media TV person that I'm like, you know, instead of me like unplugging and really just taking the time to read a book or, you know, just journal, I'm watching TV. So I think I'm also going to really work at trying to take like even 10 minutes, maybe just start at 10 minutes a night and unplug and see what that does for me. Because I know when I do unplug, I feel so calm and like just settled. And I do feel like that's my time. But you get in that routine of like, oh, I'm watching, you know, The Office before I go to bed. And before you know it, you don't take that time for self-care.
Right. Yeah, you're not plugged. You need to be plugged into you. Plug into you.
Exactly.
And yeah, so see right there, you identified what it is that you need and what you could do for your self-care each night.
Just that easy.
Yeah.
So, switching gears a little bit, you made the pivot from traditional pharmacy to integrative health and entrepreneurship. What advice do you have for women who are ready to pivot in their own careers or their lives, but they're afraid to take that leap?
That's a
it's a
great
big leap.
question.
It's scary.
It is. It is scary. I advise taking baby steps. I didn't take a leap. I tiptoed.
Okay.
I tiptoed because
you tested that water.
I did. I sure did. It depends on your situation. So if you are able to just go full head on into something new, great. But I advise to test it out for a little bit, while especially if it involves not really having a steady income, that pivot. Right. So for me, I had a steady income, great paying job. I still do. I still work for them. And but my passion is this.
Yeah.
Right. So I wanted to just see if I could make my passion, follow my dreams, and make it happen and execute it. So if it's something that you're definitely passionate about, I say go for it. But
I love it.
Make sure that you're not going to put yourself in a situation where, especially financially, where you're going to be struggling. But if you can for a little bit, do both until the other one gets off on its feet, especially if it's an entrepreneurship type situation. That's what I would recommend. Yeah. But yeah, follow your passion, because if it's in your heart, if it's going to be successful.
Oh, I love that. That's encouraging, because I'm like, you know, I do not have a wonderfully high paying job. I can't even complain about it. I work in entertainment, so I'm happy to have my job right now. But obviously, podcasting is one of my big passions, but it's not like I'm getting paid for it. But at the same time, it's like you said, it's those baby steps. I'm not like, I'm quitting my job and this is now my new career, but it's fulfilling. And I feel like when you have something on your heart, it's just not going to go away. And I love the fact that you're saying, if it's something that you really love, you're going to be successful at it because you want to do it.
Yeah. Definitely.
But you got to do it the smart way, right? Don't jump both feet first.
Yeah, don't jump. Yeah. Unless you have it like that, that's fine.
Right, unless you got it like that. Some people might. You never know.
Yeah.
On the tails of that question, what do you recommend specifically for, I won't even say specifically for women, I'll just say for people just to become unstuck in their lives?
Ooh, to become unstuck in your lives. I recommend, and this is what I did. That word unstuck is exactly what I found myself saying to somebody about 4 years ago. I said, I feel like I'm just stuck and I need to be unstuck. I don't know which way to go. I don't know if to go to left, right, up, down, east, west. I don't know.
Yes.
I'm just stuck. So I actually went to non-traditional therapist, I guess you could say. Like I did energy healing. Like they do Reiki, energy healing, tapping.
Yeah.
Because I tried the traditional way and that just made me depressed.
Wow. Yeah, therapy's hard.
Okay. Yeah. So I tried a different way and I loved it because it helped me get in tune with myself and really dig deep, dig in. I feel that we have the answers for what we need.
Yeah.
We just don't know how to unlock it. And if we have the right person that can help us really tap into ourselves, we can get those answers for ourselves. So if not going about it the way I did, I would say the lesson I've learned and advice I would give if you feel stuck and you need to get unstuck is to find a way to tap into yourself to find the answers. So whether it involves going to a psychologist, psychiatrist, a therapist, a counselor, or talking to your friends, just to go to somebody to talk about it and really, really try to unlock from within because we have answers.
I think that's a fantastic answer to that. I mean, like you said, hey, for some people, it could be even joining in her glow and just seeing what's going on with their body and how to just be unstuck in their body. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And it will definitely do that. It'll definitely do that.
Right. I love that it's all like just based on your own DNA. Many women in their 30s through 50s, maybe even younger, but I feel like that's the core age. They're stuck in cycles of fatigue, stress, or just confusing health messages. What are some common health myths that you'd like to bust?
Ooh, that's a great question. Some common health myths that I would like to bust. I know people out here, when I say this, people are going to be like, what? It worked for me.
Uh-oh.
Listen to me and listen to me very carefully. You do not have to count calories to lose weight. I said it. You do not have to count calories.
I'm a Weight Watcher, so I'm like,
you do not have to count calories.
4 points.
Right? Yeah, you don't have to count it to lose weight. You can, calorie counting works for some, but at some point it may not work anymore. And there's a reason for that. Yeah. But what is important more so than how many calories? For example, think about keto diet. Keto diet is a very high calorie diet because it's high in fat, and fat has a lot of calories.
That's true.
Calories. But look how people lose weight on keto.
That is very true. I was very successful on keto. Yes.
Yeah, so it's not necessarily about the calories in, calories out. What's more important is what the quality of the food you're putting in to your body. And also the type of foods that you're putting in. If you really want to not just lose weight, but maintain that weight loss, it's not calorie counting. It's the quality of the food, whole foods, non-GMO, just healthy, natural foods. That's the best route to go. No calorie counting.
I totally agree with that. And I'm like, let me go back and say before my Weight Watchers people jump on my back, that's definitely not about calorie counting. I like just even being mindful of just what I'm eating, because like you said, I love that your mom was like, okay, well, Fridays you can have pizza, and you didn't even have like the taste for it because that's not what, you're used to. And that's the thing. When you start eating healthy, you notice that unhealthy food just doesn't taste all that great. You know what I mean? So it's like you really don't need to count all the calories. And I think eventually, once you kind of get into the rhythm of what you're supposed to eat, which is why I love your program, it's like your body really craves that kind of food.
That is so true, Beverly. My clients, your body eventually will tell you. It will tell you if you really need to eat. It will tell you if you're hungry. And when
Yeah.
you start eating like whole foods, natural foods, you're not even it even handles the cravings. You're not going to crave the junk food anymore. So your body just
Yeah.
naturally makes this transformation to help you make better decisions. So it's some people initially, like first 3 days or so, yeah, it's hard because you've been eating a certain way for a long time, but the body is
Right.
adaptable and it responds to what you're giving it very quickly.
100%. And I mean, on the tail of that question, I'm going to have to ask because I live in LA and we all know about our little GLP-1s. Everybody out here, that is the thing. If you have the money right now, because it ain't cheap, but the trizepatides, the Zepbounds, those Zempics, I'd love to know, as a pharmacist, what your take is on them. And I mean, do you think it's like, do people need these drugs? Do you think that people can do it without it? What is your take on it?
Yeah, so semaglutide, tirzepatide for weight loss. Tirzepatide is Zepbound. For weight loss, semaglutide is Wegovy. So they actually have a session, an empowerment hour. I do talking about these medications. This month, I released empowerment hour on pretty much all you need to how to take GLP-1 safely and the strategy for success, right? For weight loss.
That's the hard
So
part, that
that's
maintaining.
exactly. So the medications work. Bottom line, they work. They're some of the most effective weight loss medications that have ever come out. They're mimicking a natural
I love
hormone
it.
that's in our body, but that's produced naturally in our body. However, that hormone, when produced naturally in our body, it doesn't last that long. So the scientists that be in the pharmaceutical industry have discovered a way to mimic that hormone and make it last longer and work longer in our bodies to reduce our appetite, slow down our digestion, reduce our cravings, and they've been around for 20 years, just not for the purpose of weight loss. For type 2 diabetes,
Right.
they've been around. So they're very well studied. The side effects are well studied as well, with the significant, I guess, warning side effect of the potential to cause medullary thyroid cancer, which to date has only been shown to happen in the laboratory animals that they've tested in. So if you have a history of
Okay.
thyroid cancer, it's not recommended that you use it. The most common side effects are the GI side effects, nausea, diarrhea, even constipation, and some taste disturbances. Some foods may not taste the same to you anymore. Of course, loss of appetite. So, with that being said, I believe that there are people out there that do need it because they've been struggling. If they have really been trying to lose weight and they can't figure out, they just can't get unstuck, I'll say, when it comes to weight loss,
Mm-hmm.
that the GLP-1s may be a good alternative or option for them to get that going. However, if it doesn't address the underlying causes of why they had trouble losing weight in the first place. And that's where the type of
Mm.
testing that I do comes into play, where we're going to find out what it is that is making you stuck where you are. So that if you are on these medications, it's going to even make your weight loss journey more effective. It's going to optimize it more. And when you decide to come off these medications, you are going to continue losing weight or you're going to be able to maintain your weight because now you know what kind of foods you really need to eat where you were stuck at and you've been doing what you need to do to get unstuck. And on top of that, my program,
Yeah.
I'm teaching you the lifestyle, I'm teaching you the mindful eating, I'm teaching you the basics of healthy nutrition and for 12 weeks. So I'm working with you to make that habit to make that your lifestyle.
Yes. That is so exciting to me. Like, I absolutely just love that because you're not like knocking it. You're still like a pharmacist and you're going to be like, these drugs do work. It's not that they don't work. But like you said, I mean, there are usually underlying reasons why people either overeat or eat too much or eat the wrong things. And I love that your program is so comprehensive that it's like a full circle of figuring out everything, not just, everybody's like taking the GLP-1s, losing a bunch of weight, and then gaining it back because they don't, they're not changing up their lifestyle. But with your program, it's like you learn why and you change these habits so you can really get to the root cause.
Yes, indeed. We want
Really
the root cause, because once we get to the root cause, that's the key to lasting success, the lasting weight loss and keeping that weight off, knowing that root cause and how and what you have to do to jump over that hurdle.
Indeed. So before we jump into your offers and your coaching and everything, I want to know, is there any like last little tidbits you want to leave our listeners with? Because I mean, I just think you're fantastic. I'm excited to jump in and to learn some more. But is there anything like last comments you want to leave to our listeners?
You know what I would love to tell our listeners out there, Beverly, is when it comes to just going back to the company LYFE. It's an acronym for Love Yourself First Every Day. It's spelled LYFE. Whether
Beautiful.
You're a man, woman, we all need to do that. We all need to love ourselves first every day and switch the mindset of I have to be this super person and take care of everybody else. Because the fact is, if we're not taking care of ourselves, realistically, how long are you going to be able to take care of other people?
Okay.
So let's just start with ourselves, prioritizing our health, prioritizing our self-care, so that we can be there for the ones that we love longer. That's what I would like to leave with. And do it without guilt.
Yes, and it's so
no
true.
need for guilt.
No guilt. I, for one, totally need to hear that this week. And I'm so going to keep it in mind, even just like the tidbits of the self-care and taking some time for myself, because lately I have been feeling overwhelmed. And I'm like, you know what, girl, you don't have to do 3 podcast interviews in a day. Or, if you need that extra nap on a Sunday, take that extra nap if you can get it in. So I just appreciate you saying this. I appreciate you taking the time. I'd love for you to tell our listeners your website, your coaching, how they can find you, all the goodies. And of course, I'll have everything in the show notes. But can you drop it to them so they can know what they can get from you?
I sure will. So please visit me at thelifebalance.com, and that's the LYFE balance.com. And there you will see a pop-up invitation to join the GLP-1 webinar. So everything you need to know about GLP-1s if you're someone that's looking into weight loss. And in that webinar, I go into more detail about the actual strategy for success, whether you use the medications or don't use those medications. And as far as my program is concerned, for listeners, Beverly Explains It All, if you decide to join one of my health coaching programs, like my 90-day health coaching program, whether it's our one-on-one private or our group coaching program, I will add the cost of the test. I will actually remove the cost of the test. That would be included. It will be complimentary for you.
Oh
and
my
that
gosh,
will be
that's major.
And that's a $500 value.
You guys, thank you.
You're welcome. So all you have to do is tell me I heard this on Beverly Explains It All, and you got it.
What a hookup. Thank you so much. I mean, you guys, this is an opportunity to change your health, get to know your body better, know your DNA, eat right for your life. So that is so exciting. And thank you, Dr. Tamar. That is so sweet of you. And I think such a great opportunity for our listeners to grab.
You are welcome. It's my pleasure.
Wow. So before we wrap up, I'm wondering if you have a mantra, a quote, or words that you live by.
Ooh, a mantra, a quote, or words that I live by. You know what? I'm going to paraphrase it. Let me look it up because I have it. And I guess I don't say it enough because I don't want to mess it up. So here we go. One can never consent to creep when one feels an impulse to soar. Helen Keller.
Ooh, say that one more time because that's good. I like that.
Yeah, one can never consent to creep when one feels an impulse to soar. Right? So,
guys,
whether it's in your health, in your business, and pursuits that you want to have, it's not, don't creep, don't, just soar. It's your passion. Go for it. Go for it.
That is fantastic. If it's your passion, go for it. Wow. Dr. Tamar, thank you so much. You have been a fantastic guest. I, for one, am already going to jump in and sign up for a consultation and get on your calendar for next week. But I want to thank you because your program, LYFE Balance, in her glow, just excites me so much. And I really appreciate you for coming on and taking the time to speak with us today.
You're welcome, Beverly. Thank you.
1000%. All right, guys, this is Beverly Explains It All. Thanks for listening. Check out Dr. Tamar. Bye.